Well. It seems as if Chidi had decided to, well, let his thoughts be known. So let's get into exactly what Chidi had to say. So, at the very beginning here at the top, he starts off by saying, "Dear Rayne, I'd rather be boy, or I think he's meant to say be a boy and be breastfed than living with your constant insults and hate. You've made posts calling me boy, liar, scammer, and deceiver. Please explain to me how. We can easily understand and forgive a child who is frightened by the darkness, but what do we say to an adult who sees light and cries?" In hindsight, I still vividly recall how, in agonizing lamentation, Rayne expressed her woes to me on the first night we met on social media in 2018. She told me she had never been loved by anyone before, that the two fathers of her children hated her and wanted to kill her, that her family disliked her and thought she was delusional. She also shared how, when she attended church, her pastor sent her out of his office and recommended she see a psychiatrist after she had spoken of alien conspiracies and the Illuminati. This was the reason she stopped attending church. She believed human society was against her and that she had no friends. So what I'm hearing here is that he's saying that basically she's an incel. Interesting. Having been through my traumatic experiences where I was helped back on my feet by the love and support of my family and friends, I felt deeply for Rayne. From that point on, I was always there for her, offering encouragement and cheering her up with numerous phone calls. After a few weeks of constant communication, Rayne, in appreciation of the joy and excitement I brought to her life, confessed her love to me, and I responded positively. We dated for 2 years. After 2 years of dating, we broke up for 3 years. Okay, interesting. Then, sometime around May or June of last year, Rayne contacted me through a regular phone call. She informed me about a TV show she had applied for. Our journey can be divided into 3 stages: the first 2 years, during which we dated, the 3 years of separation, and the final stage when she returned, which lasted about 4 months until the show filmed in August last year. So here's the thing that I'm not really understanding here. So you're telling me that you were together for 2 years, then you broke up for 3 years, then she told you about the show, so then you got back together with her for 4 months. Why would you get back with someone? This is kind of telling me that because of the show, that's why you decided to get back with her, because maybe you saw the show as an opportunity to put yourself out there to earn some money and to maybe get a little bit of fame. Now, I ain't saying there's anything wrong with that, but please be clear about what you're saying, because it's looking to me as if you literally allowed her back in your life for the purposes of being able to go on TV, which again, ain't nothing wrong with it if you're just honest about it. But hey, maybe I'm reading it wrong. Let me know your thoughts. I had no acknowledgement of it as she never informed me. She only called to say that the producers had sent me an email 2 weeks before a call and had been trying to reach me after my Android phone was stolen a year earlier. Okay, we proceed on to the next one itself in particular. And here we are. To ensure effective communication, she got me an Android phone, for which I was and still am grateful. Okay, good to know. With that being said, to cut the long story short, we reconciled and agreed on a fresh start. Okay. There was a mutual agreement to use this opportunity to study each other and to see if we could discuss, resolve, and get over our differences. And of truth, I had a genuine affection for her, just that I wasn't talking sexy the way I used to. Okay. In that case, Rayne needs to drop the dates and timestamps, because of course she did drop the texts showing that, you know, he did speak to her in a very sexual way at some point. So we need to know whether that was within the first 2 years, or if it happened obviously when he says they got back together, because then that will then of course defend him. In fact, he should drop the chance himself because he's got his sister helping him. So if anything, in my opinion, if you're going to say what you're saying, drop us the screenshots or at least something that gives us proof that you stopped doing this when you started talking to her after the 3 years of breakup. Because without the proof, I mean, let's just say you're not the only person to tell your audience a bunch of information but give them no proof. I'll leave that comment right there. If you know, you know. We continue by saying, by the grace of God, I had grown in faith and was transformed and was a transformed man in Christ Jesus. I was neither shy nor afraid to communicate this with Rayne as soon as we started speaking regularly. Something that he has obviously said before, but like I said before on the show, he made it abundantly clear that he was planning on telling her that when she arrived. Now, here's the thing. Look at it this way. Let's just say for storyline sakes, they decided to make up a story. They decided to play around with it to make their story interesting, right? Let's just say that. Well, here's the thing. That tells me that you had a choice to obviously let us know on the show whether or not you had told Rayne this information before she came. But on the show, you made a choice to tell us that you was telling her the information about the intimacy once she arrived. So therefore, you gotta take accountability for that. Even if this part he's saying is truthful, you gotta take accountability to the fact that you agreed to tell us something completely different. I'm just saying, because boy, honesty is the best policy. People are either gonna love you or hate you for it, but at least they can love and hate you for the right reasons, if you dig what I'm saying. Either way though, we continue. Before God, I made my vow of celibacy, known to Rayne months before her visit. Though I had engaged in a sexual conversation with her during the first 2 years we dated, I made it clear that I had undergone a transformation during our time apart, and I was a changed man. I ain't gonna lie to you. A man that is a changed man that is now with God would not want to actually tolerate Rayne back in his life, to be honest with you. So I do wonder why he did bring her back in his life. And that's why I say, did he only get back with her only because he could be on the show? Which again, is not a bad thing. Just be honest about it. Do you see what I'm saying? Because if you ask me personally, if I go away to become a changed person and for some miraculous reason, I still allow someone from the past to be back in my life, am I really a changed person? Yeah, I'd be questioning myself, to be honest with you. But nonetheless, it's like when people heal so they can do better moving forward and meet new people on the journey. People don't heal so they can go back so they don't heal so they can get back with the ex, unless of course you just, bumping each other in past and then you recognize that you have both changed for the better. But if only one of you has changed, come on, let's keep it a buck. With that being said, I still remember the night I had told her about my celibacy. She reached out angrily, ended the call, and called Emmanuel, also a blind guy here in Nigeria, whom she had dated before returning to me. Now that is some very interesting, juicy information. Reddit, where you at? We need to find out who Emmanuel is at. Who's Emmanuel? We need to find this person and we need to get some answers. You know how we roll when it comes to 90 Day. Always digging up information so we can get the other side of the story. But that is very, very interesting because, of course, on the show, Rayne has made it abundantly clear that, Chidi's been her only man that she's ever met that is blind. But hey, that is quite interesting. I wonder if she also offered Emmanuel the chance to also be on the show too. But Chidi just happened to be one that said yes. Emmanuel said F off. Who knows? People should ask Rayne if she didn't call Emmanuel that night, asking him to distance between his location and Lagos, whether he would be willing to come to her. They should also ask her if she didn't call our producer that same hour, asking about the possibility of bringing Emmanuel to keep her company, which the producer declined, stating that they didn't have a contract with him. Oh, things getting spicy, right? But talk about spilling all of the information. My man is raging. In fact, his sister is raging because, of course, this would have been written by him and his sister, if you dig what I'm saying. But he's dropping the gems. We continue. Rayne also blocked me that night, but unblocked me a few days later, asking if I had changed my mind. My answer remained a firm no. At this point, she threatened to terminate her visit, changing her mind when she realized I wasn't going to yield. Rayne. So here's the thing. Again, going back to what I was saying before, you're telling us that after you separated for 3 years, you became a changed man, you went to Christ, and now you was doing celibacy, which is fantastic stuff. But again, I go back to what I'm saying: a changed man, a man that is now on a new path. Not even a man, just anyone in general that is now a changed person who's now on a new path. Whether that path be a Christ or be a path of where you've healed and you're now onto new adventures and you're now starting to seek new connections and connections that are actually going to make sense to who you are now. Someone like that would not bring someone like Rayne back in their life. That part still isn't making sense to me, okay? So again, I would say that maybe you just came back just to be on the show. That's the only thing that I can think of. It's either that or everything that we're reading here is most likely probably false, you know what I'm saying? Because why would you bring someone like her back in your life when you've found a new path in life? But hey, we continue. I'm not surprised by her malicious post. Has you always threatened that the world would laugh at me, that you'd raise and shine while I remained in the dark? Well, wow, that's quite savagely. Now we move on to the next one itself in particular. Listen, honestly, the fact that he's had a lot to say, that is kind of interesting to me, to be honest with you, because I don't know. Someone that we'll get to that at the end. We'll summarize at the end. But nonetheless, though, you claim I deceived you into coming and accused me of sexting you, even till the night before your arrival. These accusations are wicked lies. People should ask Rayne for the dates of those messages. But again, no. How comes you can't provide them? Maybe if he's deleted them, fair enough, but you should have kept them. And let's be real, Rayne isn't really going to give us information that she would. Anything that Rayne does give out, let's be real, anything that she does give out is obviously going to be something within her own power, her own control. It's going to make her look at a certain light. But the question is this, though. Does Rayne have to drop the information that he is asking us to ask her? She doesn't. Because information that she has dropped so far against him, she has done all of it with evidence. If he's now going to come back, it's stronger and better for him to come back with evidence of his own, not ask us to ask her. That's a bit, you know what I'm saying? But I get it. If they were sent during the 2 years we dated before our breakup, why bring them up now? Knowing that I am a changed man. I know she can't claim they were sent during the second stage when we were separated for 3 years. I assume she's trying to claim they were sent during the third stage. After she came back to me with the show. Came back with me with the show. Yeah, you with her because you wanted to be on the show, buddy. Come on now, let's make it a buck. Be honest about it. Ain't no one gonna hate you for that. You know, some of us are gonna respect you for it. You know, you do what you gotta do sometimes, isn't it? People should ask Rayne if she consulted or informed me when she applied for the show. That doesn't matter. That doesn't matter, because if she applied for the show and then she presented it to you and you said yes, I'll be on the show. That's what that matters. It would be very, very different if, you know, she somehow, no pun intended, but blindsided you to be on the show in some weird, you know what I mean? It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. That's just my opinion. From the day she called me, the day she arrived, I never allowed myself to have a proper conversations with her. If I'm lying, why was she always complaining that the Chidi she used to know is dead? Yes, I am now dead in Christ. Why was she always asking me to submit to her and promising I would have all, all I wanted? Why did she ask me to delete all of my chats with her, claiming the producers could access our phones, which I later discovered was a lie? Rayne, you deceived me into deleting innocent chats so I would have no evidence to encounter your lies when you start unleashing them as you are doing now. I mean, listen, we can sit and say that what you're saying is true, or we can sit and say it's a matter of he say, she say. But like I said before, any information that Rayne has definitely come through with, well, not all of it, but the majority, or at least a portion of it, she has come in with some receipts. If you're not coming with receipts, to be honest with you, like it is a matter of choice, people, where we choose what we want to believe and what we don't want to believe, and what we care about and what we don't care about at the same time. And we continue though. Rayne knew full well that I wouldn't be sleeping with her before she came to Nigeria. Again, like I said before, so why did you make it seem complete opposite on the show? You went on a show, you had an opportunity to say, no, I don't want that storyline. I want to make sure everything is clear. but you didn't by the way it looks. So again, it's coming on the internet and telling us multiple times that Rayne knew before she got there. I can't sit here and say to you, okay, I agree with you, I defend you, because you still agree to do it. You know, everybody knows what happens when you go on a show, especially 90 Day Fiancé. You know, the storyline that you choose, you live by it. Now, don't get me wrong. Sometimes when they edit things, they can definitely edit things to make things look worse than what they are. Absolutely. But the words that come out of your mouth, they cannot edit. Those words came out of your mouth on the show. And you said it several times on the first 2 episodes, I think it was. There's no, you see what I'm saying? For me personally, I would appreciate it more if cast members, but let's talk about Chidi in particular, if he came out and said, listen, our storyline is this and that, and I was told, or we arranged or discussed that this is the storyline that we were going to do, but that was never actually the truth. I mean, don't get me wrong, even if you did that, that still wouldn't look good, to be honest with you. So you shot yourself in the foot regardless. I think the best thing would have been to not delete anything. That would have been the best thing. But we don't know if it's true that she asked him to do that. And again, why would you do something that she asked you to do? And also on top of that, we know that his sister has always been heavily involved in his life and been involved in their relationship. So his sister would have probably known about this. So the question is, would have his sister approved of him deleting these messages? If anything, maybe it would have been his sister who did it for him. I don't know. But either way, though, yeah, it's a bit of a sticky one that I don't know if I really want to feel like this is, yeah. But nonetheless, though, we continue. But her narcissism, desire for control, and belief that my blindness meant I lacked self-will drove her to try to subjugate me. If that wasn't the case, why was she always asking me to submit to her? On one occasion, I asked her what she meant by that, and she said, I must admit we are not equals, that she was above me. This explains why she called me boy whenever I disagreed with her. You know what's funny though? Like, and again, going back to the show, no matter how many times this woman spoke to him, like absolute, honestly, the way she has spoken to him throughout the season has been nothing but disgusting. It has been horrible. It's not nice to watch. But regardless of how she has spoke to him, he always says, "But I love her. But I love her. But I love her." Like, this is why I struggle so much to be fully like convinced that, hey, Rayne's completely the bad person in the situation, when there's loopholes or there's little gaps within his actions. You see what I'm saying? And that's why I play devil's advocate and say that both of them they're not, both of them are not as bad as each other. Rayne is clearly, by her actions, slightly worse than him, or if not far worse than him, but his actions have not helped nothing. And when you're making actions like these, who am I to sit and say to you that I feel sorry for you? I can't do that, especially given the fact that we know that his sister and his sister's wife and his sister's husband has been there by his side to obviously assist him. And we also know how much he values the opinion of his sister as well. So again, why would you allow yourself, or why would your family allow you to be with this woman again? And why would your family allow this woman to stay in the same freaking house as you? Why would you even allow this woman to even come to Nigeria? Why would you even want to go on the show with this woman? And then once you go on the show, why would you then have a storyline that says the opposite to what you are telling us here? Why? Then we continue. Imagine claiming that the house my sister and her family have lived in for over 6 years was fake and hired by producers. Oh, I must have missed that information. But I don't really know why why would she say that? That's just weird, to be fair with you. That's just right. But then again, Rayne isn't exactly, she is a very strange one, isn't she now? But nonetheless, though, we move on to the last little chapter itself in particular. I said this man had a lot to say. And sometimes people that have a lot to say, well, it can be one or two things. It means that they are absolutely peed off because somebody has been dragging their name and they want to finally have justice respectfully. Or sometimes people really want to, say a lot because, well, what's the opposite to what I just said, hey? Now, imagine accusing me of wanting to be intimate when she knew that wasn't true. all in an attempt to tarnish my image when she didn't get what you wanted. She even threatened to kill herself and me if she didn't get what you wanted. Warning that, to be fair, do I see that as something that she would do? It's a possibility, I guess. Yeah, it's a possibility. Warning that what happened between Romeo and Juliet would happen between us. Jesus. Whew. That's crazy. At the same time, threatening my sister and the producer with dark forces. She accused them of being the reason I'm not yielding to her. That I believe that. I believe that. Yeah, she definitely did that. You know, I have no reason to not believe that. She gives that energy off very, very, very strongly. At a point, the threats were so unbecoming that they had to hire a psychologist from the States to talk to both of us on Zoom, but she refused to talk to the woman for reasons I don't understand. Rayne, you can't gain love by giving hate. You can't shine by emitting darkness. I understand your pain and feel for you deeply, but it's not anyone's fault. This is how you were whining and blaming others when we first met. 5 years later, it's still the same. No. It is not 5 years later, it's still the same. It is more like a case of, actually, yes. Yeah, it's a case of where 2 years together, boom. 3 years, I had to get 3 years separations here. So 3 years later, she was still the same. Which goes back to what I keep saying. Why would you take her back? Why would you put yourself through this? Yeah. You said I called you after you left. Yes, I did. Because I was concerned for your safety after you made threats on your own life. Respectful. I respect him for doing that, of course. I'm not writing this out of hatred or rancor. Even though we have broken up, spoiler alert, I want you to know you're not my enemy. I love you with the love of God and will always pray for your healing. I hope you reflect and realize the solution to your problems lies in working on yourself instead of blaming others. Remain blessed. I do agree with that last one. Instead of blaming others, look at yourself. I absolutely agree with that. Absolutely agree with that. I mean, she's speaking nothing but gems on that last line stuff in particular. But listen, as far as I'm concerned, I believe that their story is now over because in the last episode, we see the fact that she leaves and pretty much breaks up with him and says, I'm not coming back. And I don't believe the preview showed us that they were going to be a part of a next week's episode. And also now we've got the introduction of Vanya and Bozo. So therefore, I believe they have now come in to fill in that gap. So I guess we may not see these two again until the tell-all. That's if they're going to be a part of the tell-all, you know? But, I mean, listen. I just hope moving forward that Chidi can learn from this experience. And the main thing that he should learn from the experience is that if you connect with somebody that clearly shows you that they have got signs of being absolutely bonkers, run. Do not connect that person. Do not waste your time loving that person as he says he did. Okay? He should know better for moving forward. But again, I still do question the fact of how all this kind of went down because, listen, you were separate for 3 years. She comes back. She tells you that there's a TV show. You agree to go on it with her, but also at the same time agree to be in a relationship with her for 4 months or however long it was. But then also on top of that, you also agreed to say the things that you said on screen, okay? Which obviously made you look the way you looked. And the question that I have for him is, as much as he is asking her to go away and take accountability rather than blame others, I hope that he can do the same for himself. Also take accountability for the words and how he portrayed himself, but the things that came out of his mouth on the show. You know what I mean? Because end of the day, you know, when a relationship ends, regardless of whether someone is worse than the other person, there is still always something for both parties to learn. You know, accountability doesn't have to only happen to the person that was the evil one. Okay, accountability can happen for both of you because I can say after my long-term relationship, you know, I look back at it and I was like, you know what, despite the fact that I'm the one that left because I wasn't happy with so and so and so and so, I can still look back and be like, but you know what though, I could have done that differently, I could have done that differently. You never know what happened if I did that differently. Do you see what I'm saying? So I took all that information, I said to myself, these are the things that I make sure that I don't do again in the next relationship. Do you see what I'm saying? So accountability doesn't have to be for people who are always necessarily in the wrong in the relationship. You know, it can also be for the people that was, I guess, in the more right in the relationship, because there's always something to learn. You know, sometimes we got to look at ourselves and say to ourselves, so why did we stay for so long? Why did we allow ourselves to be in this position, okay? What was the reasons? And in that process, we cannot say it's because, well, she did this or he did this to me. And no. The longer we sit there and say, well, because he manipulated me or da-da-da-da-da, yeah, that's the basics. That's what you already know. Figure out what you don't know. You know, the positive that you can take away from it. Do you see what I'm saying? And that's how people can help themselves heal from trauma that they suffer from a relationship, and hope that, you know, once they acknowledge certain things, they can hope that they don't carry that baggage into the next one. You know what I mean? You can carry caution, but not baggage. But hey, that's just my thoughts on it. Either way though, let me know your thoughts and we can most certainly talk about it. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and of course, peace.